Hi, my name is Madi and I'm a Colorado knitter. This is my YouTube channel all about knitting and making and mostly what I've been recently working on. This is episode 37 and it is January 22nd, 2025. I am completely obsessed with making and knitting, and I have a lot of new random stuff to share, and I'm super excited to share and talk about knitting with you. If you're new here, thanks for checking me out. Hopefully you like it, and if you keep coming back, thank you so much. I am still very obsessed with knitting. So today I will try to stay on track, even though my knitting is very much all over the place because I get so excited to try new things. I will start with what I'm wearing. This is the Cloud Drift cowl by Gudrun Johnston. I knit this before Rhinebeck, and I used Jamieson's Shetland wool. It's the spindrift, and the gray is actually held with a mohair, Isager mohair silk, and then the white is not held with a mohair. And it's awesome. It's knit flat, and then you seam the back, and it's just a seam that's about this big, so it's not too overwhelming. It is mosaic knitting, and it's a great pattern. I kept knitting it thinking of all the different combinations I wanted to try. This one is just 2 colors. I've seen a variety with 3 or more. So very fun, a very fun knit. And then I also have my daily pullover by Paula Pereira, and I used Purl Soho's linen quill. I think it's cracked pepper is the color, or kettle black. Maybe it's kettle black. And I love it. This is the one that unfortunately went through the washer and the dryer, so it did shrink. I recently saw on YouTube soaking it in milk and then stretching it back out, but I haven't tried it. If you guys have tried something like that, let me know. I was definitely curious, but it still fits. It's definitely not as slouchy, and it's more cropped, but it's a bit warmer because I felted it a bit. And then I will talk quickly about the few things I finished. I don't know, I'm sure we're all this way, where you're working on something, but then you can't stop thinking about, would this work for something else? Or you want to do an embroidery thing, so you quickly pull that out. Or you want to sew something really quick because your brain can't stop thinking about it until you try it. Well, you'll see that that's how I was this week. I did finish my iris beanie, and I adore it so much. I will link the patterns that I speak of and the yarn used, things like that, below. I also have Instagram at Colorado Knitter and Ravelry Colorado 5 Knitter. So in case I forget to write anything down or you have a question, just let me know. You can comment below or let me know on those platforms. But I finished this iris beanie. I was at the decreases last time, and I had run out of the Makerie dancers, and this is also Jamieson's spindrift, which I love working with. I love it for color work. I did the short brim slouch, so the cast on is a few less stitches than the beanie, and I actually, it's still kind of long, like the overall beanie is kind of long, so I do fold it up. I have this in my pocket of my coat, and I've been wearing it almost every day this week. But I even been wearing it without weaving it in. So I'll turn this guy around. We'll pretend that's not a big deal. And so I have the colors listed on Instagram and on Ravelry, but they're all Jamieson spindrift, and it makes such a beautiful fabric. I couldn't stop knitting this. It was so fun. The main color is Merry Dancers, and I ordered that second skein from Maker and Stitch up in the mountains of Colorado, and I wanted to share this cute sticker they sent. It's Knit with Altitude, and it's Maker and Stitch. And it talks about knitting with altitude, embracing the delicate dance between creativity and nature's whims. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So that store is fabulous. I've been one time actually for Gudrun's class, and I can't wait to go back. But that will go on my dresser or my drawers that I have right here on my right side. Okay, let's see what else I can share with you today. A couple other things I finished are sewing and embroidery. Yeah, sewing and embroidery. So on Instagram, I posted that I've had this bag, the Fringe and Supply bag, for a long time, and I've always loved this rusty color, but I wanted to give it a little embellishment. So I embroidered these flowers here, and I printed just the template from Pinterest, free flowers. And so what I did was I used sashiko thread, so it is a little thicker as far as the stitches showing up a bit thicker, as you can see here. I did not use any sort of stabilizer in the back of it, just because it's kind of a thicker canvas. This is, if you have a fringe bag, this is on the side of the longer pocket. So the pocket itself kind of covers the inside stitches of the embroidery. But super happy with it. That was a couple days that I did that. What I did is I use this sulky sticky Fabri Solvi. It is a fabric-like water-soluble stabilizer, and it's great for embroidery. So you can actually send this through the printer, and so it prints your template here if you want to, or you could draw on this, and then it is like a little adhesive. So you take the back off, cut it out the size you need, take the backing off, and just stick it on your fabric piece. If I was using a lighter weight fabric, I would have used a stabilizer on the back side of it. If you guys have any embroidered shirts or anything, you can often see the back has like a little stabilizer in there. But this is just what I had printed on my sticky soluble fabric. And then I printed this one out also from Pinterest. And instead of going through the printer, I just traced it. So this is just in pencil. So I kind of want to do another one. Put this on this lovely fabric I purchased at Rhinebeck. So I would put it on here. And then I would use these amazing Stuart Moore's textiles. It's wool embroidery floss, and it's 100% naturally dyed from Stuart Moore Textiles. And I bought these also at Rhinebeck. So I thought it would be really cute. And I'll show you the next thing I sewed and finished up, because I want to make this little panel, this panel on here, and then mimic this bag that I just made. So the panel, instead of the quilted fabric right here, I would put the embroidered fabric. So I did make this yesterday because I really wanted to see how these free tutorials were for you guys. And it was great. I think it took me, let's see, the boys had late start because it's been frigid, like 1 degree and negative degrees. And so they had a late start. So I probably started at 11 and I finished the whole project by 2. And that was, nothing was cut, nothing was measured, nothing was selected. So it's pretty quick if you have a little bit of a stash. But first what I did was I made this panel, and it is just a quilted or pieced rather, half square triangle panel, and the tutorial, I'll link it below. It was awesome. I actually found it on Pinterest, but I followed them on Instagram already, and it is, let's see if I can find their Instagram handle. It is So DIY Patterns, at So DIY Patterns. And it's not a video, it's just written out instructions, but you do all these half square triangles in one go, essentially. So you don't have tons of cutting. It's very efficient use of the fabric and directions, which was really fun. They lined up beautifully. She even talks about the direction of how to iron the seams, which I love, because oftentimes I'm like, which way should I go? How should I nest them? Things like that. So it was really nice. And you actually ended up with a lot more half square triangles, so you could make multiple blocks. Then I used, I had saved this for a while because I saw on Tack Handmade's Instagram, she had posted a free YouTube tutorial on making these little drawstring pouches. And so in the back of my mind, I thought it would be cute to put this panel on one of those drawstring pouches. Now, I'm not gonna lie, after I made the cute little block, I went to my closet, I looked at it on denim shirts, I looked at it on jeans. I was like, that would be super cute as a patch too. So the possibilities are endless. And she even has smaller quilt blocks, like the same one, the same motif, but smaller in size. So very fun. But as far as the tutorial for this pouch, it was also amazing. She gives you the dimensions of everything, which I used. The only difference that I did was I did box the bottoms. And so to do that, I cut, if you have any other tutorials, which you can find even on noodle heads patterns on how to box the bottoms, but I cut out an inch square on each, the front and back and the linings, to make these box bottoms, more so it would kind of sit a little bit more. The tutorial itself is more of a flat bag. And inside I have socks. So it fits perfectly for this little one skein ball and socks, so that if you already have a bag or a tote bag, you can put it in there. But I love these. I love it very much. I love the colors. This is more of like a, I don't know what you would call it, because it's not quilting cotton, so it was a little wiggly during sewing. It's a very nice woven fabric, so you can actually see kind of how it's woven, but with it being woven, it was a little wiggly sewing it. It is stabilized with a fusible batting, so it made it easy once it was all sewn to kind of do a few lines of quilting, not a ton, because I mean, it's essentially stabilized already. But I love it. These are leather cords, but I have used them before and they do kind of snap. So I'm not gonna recommend them. It was just on a roll that I received at the secondhand store. But I definitely kind of have popped it before in other drawstrings. All right, so those are two things I finished and I'm super excited about them. I love them. Yeah, they're fun. Makes me happy to finish something up and be able to show you. Let's see. Okay, so quick follow-up on my projects from last episode. In case you hadn't watched it, I talked about casting on the Riggy's Cardi by Gudrun, Johnston. And I was unsure if I was going to continue. Well, I decided to continue. I happened to be working on it when I watched Michael from Piece for Piece Crafting, and he talked about the fact that they being Fiber Hustle, Needles at the Ready, and Michael from Piece for Piece Crafting are hosting a From a Book Mal, so a make-along. And just anything, any pattern you find from a book. And so I didn't realize that I was actually doing that. And so I decided, ooh, this is great motivation to continue. And so I am continuing with my Riggies. I actually had to start it over again because I had messed up this panel. But this is, as you can see, I couldn't figure out what was going on here. But I decided to block this and see what it was doing. And this is Holst Garn Super Soft. And I have these cones because they go on these amazing sales. Now individually, I wasn't sure about the colors, but marled together, I'm really excited about it. So it's making this fabric, as you can see. Let me show you the bad side. But so I will use that mal to keep myself motivated. And this is my left panel, which is actually almost done. So you do some short rows here, and this is how it sits. I think I told you guys last time incorrectly. So it sits this way, and this is the opening in the front. But I'm very excited about it. So I believe I'll do this panel, and then I'll do the right side. But it's just garter, and it's very enjoyable. Now, holding the two yarns together, there's definitely moments I miss one of the yarns, say if we're watching TV or anything like that. But this one, I was more aware of that chance of missing yarns, which is what happened in this one. And this big old swatch is what I'm calling it. Okay, so that's my follow-up from last time, because as you'll see, I started a whole bunch of stuff. I call it doodling with yarn because I have to see what it does. And so I literally can't stop thinking about it until I try it. So the first thing is not sitting, yeah, it is sitting next to me. It's in this bag. So I had to see what this did. So I went to that IKEA knitting gathering up in Denver, and one of the knitters was talking about her sea glass sweater. And the sea glass sweater is an idea of how to use up some scraps or little bits of yarn that you might have, or minis, things like that. Now, I was not too excited about all the ends that might create. A couple of folks said that they've just created knots, like just a knot in the back, and called it good, which is a good idea. But I wanted to try the sea glass beanie. And so I kept thinking about these two together, which I've made a sock cuff with these two. And so I don't know for sure if this is high country wool. Hue Loco has a non-superwash company, and this I think is high country wool, but I'm not positive. It was already skeined up in my stash. And then this is a Zauber ball that I purchased at the Goodwill. And so I wanted to see what they look like together in the sea glass, which is just 1x1 color work. And I'm very excited about it. I think it's so fun. I actually think it's so fun on this side. Now it is a little snug. I'm making the adult small, but my hats tend to get loose as I'm wearing them. So I'm gonna go for it and see how this goes. But I think it'll be warm because it's color work and it's soft and it doesn't weigh anything. And I feel like it would be a great one to have in your pocket. But now I can't stop thinking about, oh, what about little remnants of spin cycle or like anything. Now this is nice because I'm not gonna have ends, but I definitely have been thinking about a lot of other options. So this is super fun. This is one evening. I think we were watching probably a football game, and it's really fun. It's really, really fun. So check out the sea glass hat in case you have any bits and bobs you want to use up, or if you just want to combine 2 yarns and see what happens. But isn't that so fun? And that's just 1 by 1. And when I get to this spot, I just alternate. But in the pattern, I think you actually change each row using a different yarn, different combo, like A and B, and then B and C, and then A and C, like that, something like that. But I'm really excited about that. That was one of the things that I had to just see what happened with the yarn, and I'm very pleased. All right, let's see, what else? What else? And then I'm back to my addiction to test knitting, and I signed up for 2. One, I was waiting for the yarn, and the test knit is for Briana, Arlene, and she has this beautiful new sweater coming out. She has posted that on Instagram, and it uses Circus Tonic Handmade, which is yarn from Australia, and it's merino possum woolen spun. The yarn is phenomenal. I think it's considered a sport, but the yardage is crazy good. And if you guys can ever try this yarn, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is so fluffy. Let's see, I'll get you a full skein to see. So this is the huge skein that it comes in, and this is the color Neela, but it's so amazing. And you'll see my swatch ball has changed, so I want to continue and hopefully make this year. And then I have the swatch for Donnie's colorwork vest that I want to do this year, but these are the 2 new swatches. But I spent an entire weekend swatching for this sweater, and I don't know if I'm just getting tighter and tighter as I knit, but I actually had to go up 3 needle sizes for this. And so this is a sport fingering weight, and I am on a size 8 needle for the colorwork. But it is so soft, light. It creates a great halo. Now, the yarn is awesome. I ended up adding a different color because I didn't choose wisely and get enough contrast for when I chose this chai color here. But this one is Robin's Egg, and then Neela is the dark gray. But I did change the chai for my final decision. And I wish that I could have just been like, I'm ordering another color because I didn't choose the right one. But it is a test knit, and it would have taken a while to get here. So I did choose to add in my alpaca wool from Sandness Garn in this little tweedy white that I used before to make a hipster beanie, a Sandness Garn hipster beanie. But this is damp because I had to see what it looked like. But so I'm not gonna hold it up too long because I don't want it to stretch out. I'm still hesitant about my gauge. As you can see, I swatched, I measured, I swatched. I almost did this gray in there instead of the blue, but I'm still hesitant about the gauge. But here is what I have. And so it's a gorgeous cowl neck, and this is garter. And then I have this damp color work going on. So this is the Sandness Garn that I added in there to have more, a bit more contrast. But I'm excited about it. The testers versions are stunning. I want their versions so I can see myself actually ordering more of this yarn when it becomes available because it is so amazing. I'm patting it back down because I don't want it to be stretching out, but it was my bad. I was too excited to see what it looked like blocked, so I soaked it last night. But I am through the color work of the body, and I will have a bit of one more panel, I believe, of color work on the sleeves, but the rest is just in the gray. And this color is this Nila. It almost has like blue in it. It's very beautiful. It has such great depth. You guys have to try it if you can. Circus Tonic is amazing. I was super intrigued about the possum fur in there and it's pretty cool. More padding down. I still wonder about my gauge. It is supposed to be 21 stitches, and all my samples are they are 21 stitches on a US 8 needle. Again, this one called for a US 5, but I must be a super tight knitter. But I feel like I'm fighting against it being 20 stitches. So it might be a bit oversized, but I still love it. All right. And Briana makes such a beautiful pattern. Her writing is awesome. She gives you like kind of whys. She did something. The charts, she has inverted charts where the charts have like the main color is dark and then the contrasts are lighter, or reverse, she has a light background color or main color and then the color work is darker, which is really nice because then sometimes I'm so visual that I feel like I get confused if it's only one way. I wrote some other notes, I think, in my Hobonichi about it. Let's see if I can find them for you. Yeah, that's it, I think. I'll also direct you to an Instagram that is gorgeous, and she's one of the test knitters. Again, once this comes out, I think it should come out in March. You guys have to see all the test knitters. They're genius. They have such beautiful combos. But I will link this one below because it's the first one that I thought of. Su Yan is the dragon knitter on Instagram. Oh, her version is also stunning. And as well as many of her knits. They're gorgeous. So do check her out. Let's see what else I can tell you. This is super random, but this swatch I'll talk about next. Have you ever had an idea like years after you've been doing it one way and thought, why haven't I done it this way the whole time? So I started to label the back of my swatches. So this is a start of another test knit, but I was not on gauge. I tested it I checked the gauge as I started, but I decided to use just some masking tape and label the swatch. So duh. I never thought about doing that before. So this is a test knit for Tori Yu, the Cityscape cowl. And again, I fall for cones and discounted yarn. This is Arbor in Butte, a DK weight, and this cone had 660 yards, but it's a gorgeous color, and it was during Brooklyn Tweed's sales. I feel like annually they have a pretty good sale, and so I bought 2 of these cones, kind of with the idea that I was going to wait for a sweater, but I decided this was a good project for it because Arbor makes such beautiful kind of rounded yarn. So let's see, it's worsted versus woolen. So it's more round, a little denser, but I feel like it really gives good stitch definition for these beautiful cables. So this is a cowl that will probably be released February-ish. And you work this way and it sits on your neck this way. So this is the neck, and it's gonna be gorgeous. The color is awesome. The stitches are easy. It is a cable repeat that's very simple with a beautiful I-cord as you go on both sides. You seam this portion here in the back, similar to what I'm wearing actually. And I find that so they don't bug my hair as much when it's a narrow back like this. And I will wear it. And so I'm very, very excited about this. Again, it's very easy to remember the repeat, and it's just a simple cable. I do find myself, I use a cable needle on this one. I have an easier time cabling without a cable needle if I'm bringing the stitches to be switched over to the front. I have a harder time cabling without a cable needle if I'm bringing the stitches to be kind of switched in the back. So I just been putting it on a double pointed needle, a DPN. But I'm very excited. I love this so much. Tori Yu's patterns, also beautiful, beautifully written, such classic styles that you would, I feel like, grab often. I would make this again in a heartbeat, on different colors as gifts. It's pretty quick. There's 3 different charts. So the first chart, I'm wondering if this is where my first chart was, but there's one chart, and then say I have a marker here, and then you repeat the middle chart a few times, and then you have the decrease chart. So I'm on the last chart that has the decreases. It is also available written out, which is nice in case you don't like charts. I do better with less words, and so the charts allow me to kind of see what the pattern is going to look like visually, so I prefer a chart. But I do know that everyone is so different, so I think it's nice when a designer does both. She wrote it all out for folks who want it written out versus the chart. Or it's even nice, like, if you want to make sure you're interpreting the chart correctly, just to review both at the same time, and maybe for a few rows. Let's see if I wrote anything else about this one. I'm trying to be better about giving you more description versus being like, here's a cowl, because sometimes that's what I do. I also went up quite a few needles. I'm doing mine on, this was on a US 7, which is, I think it calls for US 5, and this was a US 7, and I thought, surely this will be good. And I'm on a US 8. So when I block things, I don't really stretch them out or pin them out, because I feel like for myself, over time, they kind of shrink back to where they want to be. If it was lace, I might pin it out, but this one I laid flat, and so it wanted to be tighter than the gauge called for, so I went up another needle. Let's see, I also swatched that one, or started that one with a woolen spun. I feel like I'm saying them wrong, but I think that's it. And it was a little too flat, so I felt like the more rounded yarn helped with the cables being more pronounced. I did also look up the 2 yarns I was considering, and on Ravelry, on my phone, I use the app called Ravit, R-A-V-I-T, just because it seems a little easier on a mobile device to see everything. As far as photos go, a little more challenging to see designer names. But when I was looking, I looked up the yarn. So I looked up Brooklyn Tweed Arbor on Ravit, and then I looked up the projects with cabled patterns in mind, and the cables really popped. When I looked up the other yarn I was considering that was woolen spun and looked up cabled patterns, it didn't pop as much. So it was kind of a nice way to see what maybe would work. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, this is random, and you guys probably have already noticed and heard of it, but Knitpicks website offers cute wallpaper options. So like, let's see, my phone is, this is a wallpaper from Knitpicks. And then my iPad has a really cute one that's like yellow yarn. I don't think I have a picture on my phone of that one. Oh yeah, I do. So this is what's on my iPad right now. But just kind of some fun things. Knitpicks has free wallpaper, yarny wallpaper versions if you want to check that out. Okay, so I think that's it as far as what I've been working on. I've been really focused. For me, doing test knits is a really good practice of focusing for me. And so, and I'm definitely an all or nothing person, but I'm also not a big procrastinator. And so I think when I have a deadline, I'm like on it. Even though the designers are they're very lovely and not very strict. It's more me that likes the practice of a deadline. And so I've been pretty focused on those. I want to knit all the things. The next thing I will be casting on is I made a Tori Yu Avenue vest with a V-neck in gray in imbue, Brooklyn tweed imbue. And I was going through my stash and I knew I had this purple. It's called Orchid, but this is American merino wool and it's a worsted weight. And it made such a gorgeous fabric for my first Avenue vest that I'm going to make the round neck version of the Avenue vest in this. And so I use a US 9 for that last vest, so I'm just going to do the exact same thing. So I'm very excited to use this fun purple. I feel like it's going to be awesome as a vest, like over anything. And so that's my next cast on. In fact, we have some travel soccer that's gonna pick up soon, so I might cast this on for something like that. And then I saved 2 packages that I received to open with you. So it might be crinkly, it will be noisy, but my first one is the Woolens and Nosh skein of yarn from Michelle that is for this month. So if you don't want to see it, look away now. I'm going to open it. So it comes in these great little recyclable packages. I crossed out my name because I figured I would probably show you my address if I didn't do that right away. And I love opening it. Oh my gosh. It's going to go great in my new sock bag. This sock bag. Can you see it in there, you guys? Oh, that is so, so, so pretty. Can you see it? So this is going to be perfect for my, that's a good name, for my travel soccer also. This is the January 2025 colorway. If hibernating is wrong, I don't want to be right. That is so good. And it's superwash Targhee fingering, 90% superwash Targhee, 10% nylon, 411 yards. And Woolens and Nosh's base is definitely a favorite. It's such a beautiful plump fingering weight yarn, and it lasts so great and keeps my feet super warm. Yay, so this is gonna be going in this. So excited. Always get thrilled when I know this is in the mailbox. All right, and the next thing I did was it's my 48th birthday next week, which is crazy, but I decided to join in on an online workshop with the Makerie. The Makerie is in Boulder, Colorado, and I've never been able to go to any of the workshops, but I've followed them for a while. And so they, Buku online, or on Instagram, it's Buku. I'm terrible at pronouncing the names, but I will try. It's Aruna, and her company is Buku, I believe, and she makes these gorgeous, like patchworky bags, and just so creative. But on her Instagram, I saw that she was going to be one of the teachers on an online workshop. And the online workshop is called Home by Hand. Right now it's a wait list, but she had posted on her Instagram, and I immediately went and signed up, because you can either do the workshop during that time, but it's also recorded over the month. So if you have one of the days that doesn't work for you or something like that, or the timing doesn't work, then you could do it that way. But the idea is it says, our homes are a vessel, places to find comfort, cook nourishing meals, curl up in a cozy corner, and snuggle into our beds. We share these spaces with those we love, and surrounding ourselves with items we cherish that brings us joy, and objects we hold dear help us come home to ourselves. So the idea is to do these workshops at home, which I love that idea. And so there's 3 different days. Day 1 is painting cozy corners with Flora Waycott, and I'll link the makerie website below. And then the day 2 is patchwork squeeze pouch with a runa, and that's the one that I caught my eye. And then the last one is embroidering a sweater chair with Adriana Torres. And so the makerie sends you a little box of the items that we'll need for the workshop. So I'll open that with you. It also provides a list of other things that we need to have available to participate. But I'm really excited to see what's in here. It came yesterday, and I wanted to open it yesterday, but I thought I would wait. Let's see. All right. So opening it up. It smells good. Oh, and it comes in this beautiful parchment bag. It's probably not that. It's probably called parchment, but it's like a muslin bag. And then it says, you can find home in your hands, Madi. Oh, it's like handwritten, beautiful. Oh, it smells really good. Like a wool wash, kind of. So you have tea. I always think of Michael with tea. That's what smells so good. So a few tea bags. I'm so excited. It feels like such a little present. And so, oh, you even have paint for that painting session. Let's see. Oh, they have the same little tag. So here's the fabrics for the embroidery, and some embroidery threads. Look at those beautiful colors. And then a little hoop. And a needle. More beautiful embroidery threads. So the colors are awesome. Those are some beautiful colors. And these are the 3 colors of paint. It's pine, ochre, and peony. Ooh. And then we have the paint, the paper for painting. And here's a whole list of what you received. And then a list of what I need to have available for myself to participate. And there's a brush. And then we have the snap for the snap pouch that Butte makes, as far as the little snap pouch. Let me see if I can show you a picture, because that is not super helpful what I just said. This is the snap pouch. So I'm very, very excited. I'm gonna put everything back in because I don't want to misplace anything. And then I'll gather some of the supplies they asked me to provide for myself. Let's see, it says like a pencil, eraser, a dish to use to have the paints on, some water, paper towels, masking tape, scissors. So very simple things to have available to myself, and then they provide the extra things. So I'm excited to see what that's like, and I'll let you know next time how it went. But I love making, like I can't stop making stuff. So I hope you guys are finding excitement in what you're creating or making or dream making. And thanks for watching. All right, see ya.